You're listening to Bros. Let's Talk.
Heyo, it's Bros. Let's Talk. Pat here with Jimmy and Sean. How we feeling today, gentlemen?
Ready for a nap.
Felt worse, but I've definitely felt better.
We were all together yesterday celebrating Sean's off. WiederSean is what I'm calling it. It's not how you really say it, but it was a going away party because Sean's going to Germany a couple weeks.
Oh,
Can't even talk about it. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, actually. It's the most fun I've had in a while. I know we've been locked up, whatnot. I've still been seeing people here and there, but nothing close to normal. That felt more normal last night.
mm-hmm.
So, good times, great food.
Great food.
Food was good.
And outside with massive wind gusts leading to just unlimited farting. I'm talking, it's like I had a cheat code punched in. Old school PS2, left, right, up, down, select, ABAB, contra code. And I'm just tearing. We were there from 2 basically to about 11, so 9 hours. Overall, added up probably an hour worth of farts. Hot and heavy early, and then as the day went on, it just kept coming.
As soon as you start driving the combination of brisket, mac and cheese, and cornbread slathered in barbecue sauce, it's an unstoppable combination with the beer and booze.
For those of you listening, watching, Mission Barbecue was where the food was from. Sorry, Jim.
Oh, that's where it was from?
Yes.
Yeah.
My
So
combo was the barbecue brisket and the Casamigos mezcal. So that was.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and Jim, you
something.
probably got the food after it had been about 7 hours after it had been first dug into, and it was still probably amazing.
It was so good.
They had about 7 to 9 sauces to choose from.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible.
It's a bunch of different sauces, and I was like, I don't know if I want like 7 different ones or whatnot, so I went there and like had lunch, and I was like, all right, I need all 7 of these sauces.
Personal favorite, the KC special.
That one's really good.
Also like the Tupelo hot, sweet, then heat. Very good. All very
super
good.
Good. I combine sauces pretty much every time.
Yeah, I love doing
did.
that too.
Yeah, I did the Memphis Belle and the Smokehouse. I did the Sweet Heat or the Tupelo or whatever mixed with the Smokehouse, and then I did the KC and whichever. There's like a KC and then like some kind of a red something or whatever. I don't know, but any combination of sauces was so good. I was loving it.
Yeah, those sauces were legit.
First plate, I
Big
went
fan.
heavy sides and then 2 little sandwiches, and I put coleslaw on the sandwiches and everything, and then
Have to.
second plate, I just went straight meat. Just all the brisket with the burnt ends was just, oh my gosh, dude.
So Saul's
so
sister-in-law had me. Wait. Saul's sister-in-law's sister had me doing shots of tequila and chasing it with the brisket.
Yeah, I did that too. The meat shot.
The meat shot.
And she brought empanadas.
I didn't get one of those.
I did not get one
Oh
of those either.
my god. Gosh, guys. It was like at a certain point, I went into yesterday with a pretty strong commitment to have fun and have some drinks and just let loose. And then I had 2 beers and a cup of cider and then 2 plates of food. And then pretty much from there, my entire focus just shifted to eating the rest of the day. It was lovely.
It was lovely. And that cider was amazing.
So good.
I had
Shout out Ryan Schroeder, potential future fill-in guest host.
There you go.
He was
Shro, friend of the
talking it up a little
podcast.
bit yesterday. So I told him maybe we'd give him a shot. Maybe we'll hold auditions. We'll see.
Shawnee, what time were you out till?
I didn't go to sleep until like 6:30 or something like that.
This morning?
Yeah. 6:30 or
Nice.
7.
Did
I
you
got
come
home.
or did you stay there?
I went home. We stayed afterwards and just kind of helped clean up a little bit, although I did extremely very minimal cleaning, but was still part of the gang. And then
Moral support. It's
yeah.
important.
We just hung around a little bit after everybody left around like 5 or 5:30, whenever they left. And then I got home and I showered and made a pizza and ate the whole pizza and drank like a gallon of water. And then I fell asleep after all
Nice.
that.
It's a good way to close it out.
Yeah, I felt good.
I bet.
I was caked in all sorts of bonfire stank and just the
Yeah,
stank of the day and barbecue
definitely.
stank and everyone's
Right,
fart
'cause, like,
stank.
Everyone just
The
farting,
food
yeah.
and the tequila and the scent of the bonfire all kind of mixed. So I
Yeah.
couldn't tell if I was like burping up tequila, if I was smelling bonfire, if I was burping up brisket, which was fine. Whatever. At that point, it's all
I will say,
hodgepodge.
It's all the same.
Well, that's fine.
I was driving there with Alyssa, and all of a sudden, probably halfway there, I had this sudden thought, and it just freaked me out. We're going somewhere where there's a barbecue buffet, and a bunch of people are going to be there, and there's only one bathroom. So I'm driving there. I'm like, oh no, I might have to eat light. This sucks. And then I pull up, I see the porta potty. Professional move. Now, I'll have to ask you, because Jay says things that aren't always true, but I try and take his word for things. Jay says they dropped this thing off and pulled the plastic off it. That's how brand new it was.
Dude, that thing was brand new.
It was
I went
brand-
inside.
it was brand new.
Brand new.
I went inside
Brand
for
new.
5 to 7 minutes, and it was lemony fresh,
Dude,
and
it
there was
the
a
cleanest
nice
porta potty.
underleg wind breeze that came through. It was surprisingly enjoyable experience in
Quite
a porta
lovely
potty.
for a porta potty,
was-
right?
Quite lovely is a very nice way of putting it. It was quite lovely. I enjoyed it. So that was maybe the best part of the whole night.
Dude, the porta potty. Saul suggested it, and I was like, "Yeah, we probably got to do it just cause." And so we got the porta potty, and I was like, "All right, man, this is gonna work out." And I'm glad it got good use. I'm ashamed to say that later in the night, like way later in the night, I went in there and it was pitch black, and I just started pissing, and someone had put the seat down, so I was just like pissing
Pissing
everywhere. Dude.
Oh, your pants
I
got
was-
splashed
dude, I
down
was just
probably.
So
Yeah.
it
I
was,
was like-
no longer clean after
now,
showering.
now it's just a porta potty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
no,
how it
no
happened.
longer is it quite lovely.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I like,
Okay.
yeah, I was pissing
Well,
on
I'm
the
glad
seat,
it was
then I had
quite
to, like,
lovely when I used it.
Yeah, it was very lovely when I
Really,
used
all
it
that
as well.
matters to me.
I was a huge
Right.
fan of it.
Yeah, it was good. Good at the time.
Before we jump in, I have a random question that I want to bring up that Alyssa and I were talking about the other day. How many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches do you guys think you could eat in the course of a day if you were trying to eat as many as possible?
Full loaf of bread.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I
Yeah.
said I would. I literally said I would make a full loaf into sandwiches and then just put it back into the bag and carry the loaf of bread around with me. I
For
said
sure.
I thought I could eat one for every hour I was awake, easily. I would probably start to get a little full by the end of the day, but I think I could eat 8 PB&Js over the course of the day.
I was gonna say
I think
6.
Okay.
So 3 meals, two per meal, full loaf of bread.
Maybe one day we'll put this to a test.
And
we'll
the only reason I say that is because I load mine up with peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah,
No, seriously, I'm talking one day on like
I
a
love
Saturday. We all just make a full loaf worth of peanut butter and jellies, carry it around, and film ourselves eating and our progress.
Oh,
I
I
think we
could
do it.
I could for sure do a full loaf of bread
Part of
without question.
what came into it for me is how fast I can eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like, I can eat it in 15 to 20 seconds, 4 bites.
yeah. I mean,
It goes so quick. It's delicious.
PB&J, especially with like the smooth peanut butter, like it's just so crushable. No crunch in your way. It's just all it's
Big
just all
time.
soft chewing.
Little glass of milk with
Right.
each.
yeah.
Mix it in.
Absolutely. Not a
And
problem.
as our listeners know, our condiments out there, as they know, we're jam folks here on
Have to
this
be
podcast.
Oh yeah.
If you
So
use jelly, you're an amateur.
well,
That's
and
right.
not
Start
only would I
over.
be using jam, but I would have a variety of jams within my PB&Js. So
I would go straight
as to not-
strawberry or grape.
Oh,
me.
I would not, dude. I would be fine with those, but I had a very nice, refreshing peanut butter and apricot jam sandwich last week, and it is just delightful.
Dude. Apricot, raspberry apricot, straight raz, get to the blueberry. Oh my god. I'm thinking it's like not even on a Saturday, like on a regular work day when I'm up, at like 7 o'clock. Yeah, I would have a PB&J as soon as I sit down to work. I would have like 2 more PB&Js at lunch, and I'd probably have a PB&J in between. That's already 4.
Right.
So maybe I'd do a 2 PB&J breakfast, 1 in between, late lunch, 3, 2 more PB&Js, get off of work, maybe go for a run, probably 3 PB&Js after that.
So you could 8
Dessert
doable.
PB. I think it's doable for sure.
8 to 10 is probably doable. And this is if you're trying your hardest. Obviously, normally you wouldn't go about your day trying to just down PB&Js. But like you said, if you work in all those activities, you do it on a work day, so you're spreading it out throughout the day. Especially you go on a run, all of a sudden you crush 3 post-run. Big old glass of milk.
I could crush a loaf of PB&Js tomorrow without any preparation. Just wake up, there's my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No problem.
Right.
All right, well, we should calendar a PBJ day. We'll get Andy involved. He's a little bit under the weather. That's why he's not here with us today.
All right, buddy.
I'm just kidding. I didn't even drink. I just ended up eating myself into a coma yesterday. But Andy, if you're listening, be prepared to eat 8 to 10 peanut butter and jellies over a 8 to 10 hour span, or however long you're awake during a normal
I was saying, so the other reason is I'm awake like 16 to 18 hours a day. So I'd for sure.
Oh, so you got to eat like 16 to 18 PB&Js.
I'd crush.
I'm going for an hour, 1 per every hour I'm awake. That's my pace that I'm striving for.
I'm just gonna crush a loaf. That's what I'm gonna do, including the butts. I'm not excluding those.
All right, we're talking involved. Full loaves, right? We're not talking any half loaf bullshit.
No. Talking
full loaves.
12
end
pieces of bread, end to end.
Your loaf of choice. I will leave that out.
By the way, potato bread.
That's pretty good. For peanut butter and jelly, my preferred loaf is Sara Lee honey wheat, or basically any other brand honey wheat. But the Sara Lee one it's so crushable.
I'll go Martin's with Jif peanut butter smooth and either grape or strawberry jam. Sometimes I'll even mix
Jif smooth. Definitely Jif smooth, spicy. And then assortment of jams.
Oh yeah,
assortment of jams.
So I'm not trying to call anybody out, but we have a dedicated listener and former softball teammate who swears by Peter Pan peanut butter.
Wait.
I'm not gonna call him out. I'm not gonna say his name.
Give us any hints, because I can't think of who you're talking about right now.
He
is he an intern?
He is not an intern.
Is he a tradesman?
He is a tradesman, yes.
Okay, I know who it is, but I won't say it either.
Peter Pan peanut butter.
He swears by it?
Swears by it.
I mean,
I can't remember the last time I had Peter Pan peanut butter.
And there's a reason for that.
Ever since I discovered 4-pound can of Jif peanut butter for $10 at Jewel, it's just this is the way.
Yeah.
This is the way.
Jif is the only correct answer, in my opinion.
I can deal with Skippy.
I can deal with it, sure.
I can deal with it. How do you guys feel about natural peanut butter?
I like it, but not for PBJs. It's good. Like I'll put it.
So I'll make or something.
No, so I'll make smoothies, and then I'll like drizzle the peanut butter on top, so it's like a PBJ smoothie. then it's delicious. But in terms of peanut butter and jelly, no.
Don't
Jif is
quite
the
do
only
the trick.
answer.
Yeah.
I'm not as picky on my peanut butter. I could even go crunchy.
Sure.
But I wouldn't go out of my way to buy Peter Pan peanut butter, or I mean, I like Jif pretty much exclusively. That's usually
Me
what we
too.
have in our house, or Aldi
Yep,
brand.
Same.
I'll go Aldi brand if I have to, but Jif is usually
I might
the
even
go-to.
mix crunchy into my peanut butter and jelly day because just for the little difference in taste and texture.
I
All
respect it.
I don't, but then I'd have to buy some because I don't have any on hand.
Could we mix in a single peanut butter and fluff sandwich,
Fluffernutter?
Oh.
or does it
Absolutely.
have to have jelly?
No,
I don't
it's.
think so.
In fact, I
What
would
about
think
the loaf there? The
I
pure
would
number
think
of sandwiches
fluff would
there.
make it more difficult. So yeah.
There you go.
I'm
Pepper and
also-
some fluff.
Oh yeah. So last night, Corey was bothering Jimmy to no end about smoking weed, and he's been trying to get him to smoke for like 15 years, and Jimmy doesn't want to do it. Jimmy wants to take an edible if he ever does it, and Corey's just trying to convince him that that would mess him up more. Just all this stuff, this back and forth. So Jimmy said he would do it on my birthday, and he would make sure Corey was there. So Corey was basically asking Jimmy to promise him. He wanted him to make him a promise. So Jimmy goes, "Pepper and the Mary Jane on Pat's birthday," and Corey just staring at him. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, all right, I get it. That's good enough.
Yeah.
I get
Corey's
it.
like, that does not count. And Pat's like, no, I get it. It counts.
counts.
Trust me.
It counts.
Dude, that's hilarious. Just plugging
Yeah,
it
it was
into
great.
everyday conversation.
It just
Probably-
came to me.
probably-
Pepper and the marijuana.
we got to make those shirts with the shoulder mics.
Have to.
on
That's
the
such
really
printed.
have to.
It's so
Oh man, it
perfect.
was so funny.
That's amazing.
So then Sean afterwards, I know your dad must have overheard the conversation. So he's passing out cookies, and I'm eating one. He goes, "That's an edible, you know." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And he goes, "No, I'm just kidding. I mean that the cookie is edible." I
Yeah.
had a mini panic attack. It's I'm like 3/4 of the way through the cookie. Haven't had any indulgence in marijuana in over 15 years, and I'm tweaking for like 10 seconds. I'm like, oh crap! I was talking about having like a singular chocolate chip, but I just crushed 3/4 of this cookie in 2 bites.
Dude, my dad was getting everyone with that. He was like, "Do you guys
Oh,
want some dessert?"
That
People
was
would be
so
like,
funny.
"Nah, I don't want." He's like, "It's an edible." They'd be like, "Really?" And they'd all grab a cookie, and he's like, "Nope."
Well, he
It's
got me
so
with the
funny.
reverse on that one. It was pretty
Yeah.
good. Scared the crap out of me.
Dude, he was killing everybody.
Oh man.
Oh,
Great
it's so
nice.
funny.
times. Great times were had. One last thing about the party before we move on. I don't know if you guys picked up on this, and I don't know if they were ever all there at the same time, but potentially the most and single greatest collections of mustaches that I've ever been at one party with.
Dude,
It
they were everywhere.
Phil takes the cake for sure.
yeah.
That thing is, and it's natural. Put them on a pizza box, Tartaglias.
Yeah.
It's so
Forgot about that.
perfect. And then Dan, Andy, Mike Scudder. I think that was it, but it was 4 pretty solid mustaches at one party.
Mr. Connell,
Oh, that's just
heavy
like
stash.
heavy stash. That's just like secondhand stash. You don't even realize it. It's so powerful.
Secondhand stash.
It was a sight to see. Phil, I could see everyone going up to Phil and touching his mustache, and it was awesome,
Dude, Phil was killing me
Love that
yesterday. He
guy.
was so funny.
right? Oh, it was glorious. Good night, great night,
Great night.
great night. And then the Bears played football today, and somehow
They tried.
Hey, they won. They made the
I
weekend
know.
better.
they
It's unreal.
won, but somehow, despite winning, it doesn't feel great. But wins are wins, and we'll take 5-1 all day, especially with the Packers now getting their butts kicked by the Bucks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's offense is so hard for this team, And Matt Nagy is just a bad play caller.
Yeah.
That's where I stand. He's just a bad play caller. He needs to relinquish the duties and focus on being a head coach, because I do think he is a good head coach, because this team plays their ass off every week, and you have one of the biggest disparities of talent, maybe not talent, of production that I've ever seen between an offense and a defense.
Yep.
And somehow that locker room is united and doesn't want to tear each other apart from the inside. Why can't we score 30 points? Please, just
Dude, how
one
cool
week.
would that be?
30 points.
That would be so awesome.
30. This defense is so good again.
So good.
So good. Our corners are amazing. Kyle Fuller is the most aggressive defender in the NFL right now.
He's a G.
He's so good.
And Jalen Johnson is really good. I mean, that pass interference call was pretty crap, if you ask me. And he did get burned once there, but for the most part, you can depend on him to lock down if it's one-on-one coverage, or to at least be with his guy.
And what I like about him was he'll get burned, he'll make a bad play, and he gets up and just keeps playing. He's still a rookie. He's his 6th game. He's got a ton to learn, obviously, but he's going to be good. I like him.
Dude, he's way better than I expect him to be at this point, but way better than I thought he was until I saw someone post on Old Sport about his coverage rate. He's like him and Fuller are like 2 and 3 in the league in terms of coverage.
He's an upgrade from Amukamara last year.
Oh, for sure. Amukamara was looking old last year.
Yeah, and again, the defense got a lot of pressure today on a mobile quarterback, so even more impressive there. And Roquan Smith looked really good today.
He did look really good.
Danny Trevathan looks like he's getting his legs back underneath him.
Yeah, it doesn't look as slow. Still a liability in coverage, but not as bad.
The defense is really good.
We saw Ejax have another pick 6 taken away, which sucks.
Guy. Offensively, our line is terrible.
Yep. Cody Whitehair.
David Montgomery is so used to getting hit before he gets to the line that when he's in open field, it's almost like he's tripping, falling forward because he's expecting to have a body on him.
Agreed.
And it's hard to watch. This is not a good run defense that we were playing against today. 25th
one of the worst
in the league.
in football.
And couldn't get anything going. Montgomery had a couple decent chunk runs, but even those 12 yards, 13 yards, and just constantly being hit at or behind the line. Can't get an easy 10 yards to ice the game a couple different times there. Terrible clock management towards the end of the game. For as many things as they did right to obviously end up winning the game, there's still so much to be desired about this team.
But they got Cole Kmet involved today. We see how the Jimmy Graham signing was not a waste of money because he didn't have a touchdown today. But I love the intensity he plays with. He's always pushing and getting in the faces of guys on the opposing team. And I still think that this team is going to be okay. First of all, and I've said this week in and week out, I'm going to celebrate every win because I don't know if the season's going to go on the whole season, although it's looking more and more like it's going to. And B, it's hard to win in the NFL. And out of the 6 games, we have 5 wins. We beat a legit Tampa team. Carolina had won 3 in a row coming in. And our 2 wins against Detroit and the Falcons, we shouldn't have been losing, but we were. So we came back and we won. So we've been making more plays than the other teams. I know it's not pretty, but I'll take an ugly win any day of the week. Our next 3, and to me, the reason this game was so important because our next 3 games were at LA on Sunday night, have the Saints at home, and then we're at Tennessee. I will be happy if we win one of those 3 games. Because if we win one of those 3 games, we have a legit shot to go 10-6 this year. So look at the rest of our schedule.
Teams that start 5-1 in NFL history have an 83% chance of making the playoffs, and that's before the expanded playoffs this year. So
90% with the expanded playoffs.
90% chance of making the playoffs at this point. And I think the hardest thing to swallow as a Bears fan is kind of accepting that our identity is winning ugly,
Yeah.
because that's a terrible identity to have as a fan, because you're going to be on the edge of your seat, nervous every single game, never be able to take a breath, always
Right.
going to be in tight games.
Right.
The thing that's hard for me is that, okay, if we're going to ride our elite defense and have that be the linchpin of our team, which it normally is when the Bears are good, then we need to balance that with a good average to good running game. We need to figure out a way to run the ball, because what we're doing, what Nagy's trying to do, it's just not working. So we need to adjust our roster, or not our roster. We need to adjust our play calling accordingly, so we can take advantage of our defense giving us the ball in favorable field position, making stops, keeping them off the field, converting on third downs, icing the game when you get the ball back and a chance to just end it, so your defense doesn't have to go back on the field. Luckily, they came out and make a play right away, but just not letting it get to that point. This team doesn't have that ability to close out games. They've been finishing games, but they don't have the closeout factor. And in the playoffs, that's going to come back and bite you in the ass.
But we're still a long way
from there.
We have, what is it? So we have 11, 12 weeks to get that figured out. And again, I understand your frustration, because it is frustrating to watch. I'm just so happy anytime football's on, and we're all such diehard Bear fans that when they're good, ugly or not, I'm just happy to see them win. So I share your same frustrations, but I'm happier that they're winning than I am frustrated of how they're winning. So I'm just going to keep believing until they prove otherwise, that they're going to get this figured out, and ugly or not, I'm cool with it. 5-1. Like I said, we got a tough 3 games coming up. I would prefer, if we are going to, obviously I want to win all 3. I honestly just will be happy with 1 win, preferably against the Rams or the Saints, because that's good for a wild card standing. I mean, if we beat Tennessee, great, but I'd rather beat another NFC team. But then after that, we still have the Vikings twice. We have Jacksonville. We have Detroit again. Those are all winnable games. Houston is looking better, but they're still 1-5. They suck. We always play Green Bay. Well, I doubt we'll win in Green Bay, but who knows if we can steal one at home, maybe. So I honestly like our chances, moving forward here.
I think they have a long way to go to be competitors, serious competitors in the NFC.
Right. So no, I agree. Yeah, I'm happy that we're at least being able to talk about having a conversation to be a competitor, as opposed to being, we're 3-3 or we're 2-4 and we have no shot at the playoffs, and now already 6 games in, we're talking about what draft pick we can get. I like the fact that we're at least talking about they need to make these improvements to be competitors. I would rather have us in that position than any other position. So I'm going to continue to celebrate and be happy about each win, and just try and take it week to week.
I'm going to hope for the best in the playoffs for sure, but I would consider this year another, like a victory of a season without a Super Bowl, obviously, but it'd be a big win for the team and the franchise if we go 10 wins and if we can beat the Packers at least one time.
Yeah.
That's what I really want.
And then go in and get a playoff win.
A playoff one would be sweet too.
That'd be go in and get a playoff.
Anything that happens in the playoffs, if we win 10 games and beat the Packers, it'd be kind of like almost like gravy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If we can make some kind of a postseason run, obviously I'm all for it. But for the regular season, let's get 10. Let's beat the Packers at least one time. And I would almost rather even beat them on the road, to be honest. In December.
Oh my God, I would love to beat them up in Green Bay. But
right.
I don't know.
I think it's like a late December game too.
I think it's January.
Awesome.
Week 12 week 12 and week 17 are the 2 games against Green Bay this year.
Yeah, January 3rd, we're in Green Bay.
Okay.
The thing for me is, for so long now, this whole narrative around this team has been, well, let's see what can happen when Nagy gets a quarterback who knows his system and can run his playbook, and he can unleash the whole playbook and this, that, and the other thing. And it's still early, but here we are now, 4 games under Foles, and it looks exactly the same. It's not There's no noticeable. I mean, there are.
I agree with you to an extent, but go ahead. Finish your point.
Improvements as far as audibles and identifying defenses and things of that nature. But as like production wise, we're still seeing missed bad throws by the quarterback where guys are open and it's just a bad throw that misses them. We're still seeing inability to pick up big yardage plays anywhere, big chunks of yards. I mean, there's more of the option to push it downfield, but it's things we're seeing other competent NFL offenses do every single week are non-existent within the Bears offense at all.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating.
Nick Foles is eye test only, noticeably better than Mitch Trubisky. He knows what the routes are. He knows when the receivers are going to be open. For the most part, he gets the ball to them accurately and on time. He came out today and said that interception was one of the stupidest plays he's ever done. He shouldn't have done it. I feel better with him back there. I like the offense best when it's a no huddle and he's in charge. He goes to the line, he reads the defense, he calls a play, guys go and execute. That's the offense that I want to see because we have been talking about this for I don't know how long. Nagy, it just seems like he's randomly.
His ego is the biggest defense against this team. Is Matt Nagy's ego? That's the biggest thing holding them back. I feel like. And
again, we've knocked him for play calling, but all the guy does is win. He wins. He's proven in year 3 that he can go out and win. If he could get rid of that ego and give up the play calling.
I think he's a good head coach. I don't think he's a good play caller.
Couldn't agree more. So if he could give that up and give it to someone who, I don't even know, have a game. Again, he seems like he just randomly calls plays sometimes for no rhyme or reason without setting them up, without reading the defense. I don't know. He has not shown a ton of improvement. That and his clock management needs to get worked on. But I like him as a head coach. All the guy does is win, and I hope that they do get it figured out because this defense is a playoff caliber defense. This D is legit, and they're missing one of their biggest stars in Eddie Goldman in the middle, and you can tell they're starting to come together. So I hope that eventually Nagy can just get rid of his ego and give up the play calling, and we can see what this offense can really do.
So
remains to be seen. When
Foles was in Philly and he was doing his thing, probably playing the best football of his career, was it Laser that was making those play calls for Philly, or was it Doug Peter? Was the head coach making the play?
Good question. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure
I don't know the answer to that.
I feel like it was Peterson, and I'm not sure what kind of play calling capabilities the guys behind Nagy has. Probably because he didn't plan on hiring a play caller. He's planning on
right. Well, he does have John DeFilippo, who called. Was a play caller, I think, in
Philly and
Minnesota and Jacksonville, maybe.
Yeah.
So, definitely. And I know Bill Lazor was eventually too. So he definitely has guys who know how to call plays. So,
okay.
I don't know. I don't know if he'd ever give up play calling, but I think why not try?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not exactly looking to Philly, unless it was Philly the year with Foles. But other than that, it's like Philly, Minnesota, and Jacksonville aren't exactly like powerhouse examples of offense, but obviously definitely Chicago is not either, and we're probably actually worse than those three.
In the sense that Nagy's a winner, because you look now, this is 38 games into his coaching career, and he's got a well above 500 record, but I'd be willing to bet that his offense averages probably in the 15 to 17 point per game range, which is just bad by NFL standards. That's bad, especially when your defense is allowing in that same time frame 16, 18 points a game every year.
Mm-hmm.
When your defense is allowing that few of points, you should be winning by a touchdown every game. It's not too much to ask to average 24 points in the NFL. That would put you not even in the top 10. That would put you probably like 14. That would put you in the top half of NFL teams for offense if you scored 24 points a game. Jim, are you looking it up? Seeing what are they average right now?
The Bears points per game?
Yeah. they're giving up like 16 points a game, something crazy. They have the least amount of
incredible.
touchdowns allowed on the season.
Oh, you want to know what they're giving up?
If you don't,
okay.
or either if you
Yeah,
could
no, I
just
got it.
check
Yep.
out what the Bears points for and points against are right now.
Okay.
Because if the Bears could just be a top 15 offense, they could be one of the best teams in the NFL.
Yeah, agreed.
And they make it look so hard.
So let's see, they are averaging 21 points per game exactly.
Scoring?
No, this isn't updated because it still has them as 4-1.
There's no way the Bears are averaging that many points, is they?
No, that's terrible. That's 25th in the league.
That still seems high for
points against. They're 8th.
That's weird. ESPN doesn't show.
Yeah, but this isn't
per
updated
game.
yet either. So,
well, ESPN shows them at 5-1 right now.
all right,
Regardless,
let's see. Yeah, you guys chat and I'll figure it out.
Or not. Just the eye test, then it's not where it needs to be.
Agreed.
Even at 21 points,
that's that's bad.
They're bad. That's 25th in the league, which
bad.
is
3 touchdowns a game.
That's bad.
Right. That is bad.
Play 4 quarters. Yeah, on the season, the Bears are a plus 12 point differential.
So they average 21.3 points a game.
Okay, so even more than I expected, but still not great.
No, not great at all. Again, 20-something in the league. That's not good.
Pretty terrible.
They should be average. If they could average a full touchdown more.
Well, I guess we'll just put it in this perspective. They are the lowest scoring team in the NFC North and the 3rd lowest scoring team in the NFC overall. And the only teams below them are the New York Giants and Washington football team.
So they're scoring 21.3 a game, and they're giving up 19.3 games. So yeah, that's why you said they're plus. What did you say? Plus 12.
Plus 12, and
so
4th lowest scoring offense behind the Niners, Giants, and Washington football team.
Yeah, so they got to get that figured out.
They gotta, but like you said, the positive is there's so many games left.
So many games.
They can iron this out. They could figure out how to run the ball. They could figure it out by playoff time. But right now, I will take 5-1 all day. But it's as least confident as you can feel in a 5-1 team, from my perspective.
At least the Packers are kind of getting their asses kicked.
Asses kicked today.
28-10. A-Rod has 2 picks. He's been running around all over the place. He's been hit. He's
almost
been
had
thrown.
a third on that last drive, too.
Yes, he did.
It's nice to see where all this being said, very likely we're talking about the first place Chicago Bears.
Right, because if the Packers lose today because we beat Tampa Bay, we will technically be in first place.
Plus, wouldn't we technically be anyway because we have a half game in hand? But I guess because of win percentage, I don't know how the standings work completely.
Figure it out.
Either way,
figure it out at the end.
First place Chicago Bears.
Dude, and you know what? Screw it. Even if our mantra is win ugly, usually when someone's crying ugly, it's for a big event in their life. So if we're winning ugly, let's put those
Super Bowl.
Put those ugly faces on and win.
I like that. Put our ugly faces on and win.
That's right.
Speaking of ugly faces that win, LeBron wrapped up his 4th title this past week.
It's a good transition.
In the bubble, the Lakers beat the Heat 4-2. It was game 6, right? Game 6. So 4-2 to win the title. LeBron's 4th. He's finals MVP as well. His 4th finals MVP. Now 4-6 in NBA finals. So naturally, all week, everyone's talking about the GOAT debate and Jordan and LeBron and this, that, and the other thing. And is there anything, basically what I'm trying to get at, is there anything from the opinions of Michael Jordan fans, is there anything LeBron could do to change our minds on this debate?
I don't think so.
I don't
Do
think
you?
so either. It's just their careers are so different. They're such different players. They played in such different times. It's not. It's like I saw. I like this meme a lot. It was a meme. It was LeBron left, Jordan center, Kobe right, and it said the King, the Goat, and the Mamba. And I was like, that's probably the best way to put it
Yeah.
because LeBron, at the end of the day, his numbers are all going to be better than Jordan's. He'll obviously have played in more games, more playoff games, more finals appearances. He could end up with 6 rings. It's a realistic possibility. And it's just I mean, he may go down as the greatest player of all time in some people's opinions when you look at statistics, but
Mhm.
at the end of the day, Jordan is the GOAT. I mean, he's the most he's lethal assassin. I mean, he went in to win. He had three-peat, he retired, he came back, he did it again. He didn't have as long of his career, but all the numbers it's almost like his numbers were more potent because of what he was able to accomplish in less time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think LeBron can take over the GOAT status, but I think he can keep the king status for sure.
Yeah. I think that's a really good way to put it. It's I don't know. And I know we're biased obviously because we had Jordan, but we also don't denounce LeBron's greatness. Some people, it doesn't matter what he could do. When you have the eye test, they're never going to give him credit for anything. Dude is a dominant athlete. He is the best player in the world right now and has been for the last at least 10 years. He is a dominant athlete. Is he Jordan? No. Is he Kobe? No. But especially for us, like I was able to see I think I was like 10 or 11 when Jordan stopped. So I've got to see Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. So like our age group of people is super lucky because we've seen three of the best basketball players ever. There's nothing wrong with saying Jordan's the GOAT while also giving LeBron his credit for how dominant of an athlete he is. Yes, he likes to whine a lot. Yes, he goes about things differently than Jordan did, but it doesn't make him any less great. Is he the GOAT? No, but he's the king. I think Sean, that's the right way to put it. He's a king, and at least give the guy his props for being as good as he is.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a damn good basketball player.
Yeah, I mean, I'd really like to see the debate stop. I know it never will because it's the biggest lightning rod argument in sports media.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty well put, Sean. I think LeBron's whole argument is volume. And then it's just when you break it down per game, like you said, Jordan's numbers are just so potent that it's almost mind-boggling. But then you watch LeBron and how long and consistently he's done things. Like that's part of his argument, the longevity and being able to do it for such a long, sustained period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's to a point where everyone should really just stop focusing their energy into that argument and really appreciate what we are watching in LeBron, because even though he is annoying at times and always likes the spotlight on him and he's always complaining the refs, he still is one of the greatest athletes to ever live, not even
Pat,
just in basketball.
do you remember where we were 22 years ago today?
Judgment Day? Hell yeah, dude. That was awesome. Is that when Vince McMahon fired
You're
Stone Cold?
fired. Yep.
Oh my gosh, that ruined my life.
From his wheelchair in the press box at the Rosemont Horizon.
Oh,
Kane
that's
versus
hilarious.
Undertaker for the vacated championship belt.
Good times.
Dude, that match was awesome.
That was amazing.
That was great. Just like LeBron, he's a great player, and everyone. I think if LeBron goes now and maybe three-peats with the Lakers to bring himself to 6-6, and having played in 12 finals, the argument would be a lot harder to deflect. I still think having the 6 losses is just
Huge, very detrimental to the argument.
But having played in 12 finals, it is an accomplishment in itself.
Right.
They had the stat that he's 35-0 against Eastern Conference teams since 2000 and whenever he went to the Heat, 2011 or something like that.
Also saw that AD is probably re-signing with LA, so there goes our pipe dream of luring him away to the Bulls.
Right. To me, the thing that separates them is the willingness to put the game on your shoulders at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And LeBron tries to make the right play, and you can commend him for that, but there's something to be said about stepping up and just making the play instead of making the right play. And that's an area where if he could evolve in the back half of his career and win a few more titles where it's him kind of taking control like that, then who knows where this is. But if LeBron plays 20 plus years and ends up with 6 or 7 rings and having played in 14 finals, I mean, that's insane.
Yeah.
So that's just
insane.
It's insane. That's all there is to it.
It is pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. LeBron, obviously, he's a super athlete. There's no way around it. The argument's going to go on. I still don't think he's done enough to dethrone Jordan. Who knows? Time will tell. But here is what we do know. Their chances of repeating, let alone three-peating, are going to be severely hindered when Golden State is full force next year with their top 2 draft pick or whatever they have.
And when Giannis comes to the Bulls, it's going to make things real hard.
Or I've heard Giannis might go to Golden State.
Dude, that would...
Or Miami. I saw that
Or
too.
Miami. So
quick.
the league's going to shuffle. We'll see what I'm sure the Lakers will secure their kitty too. They'll probably get a couple good players. So we'll see. But I think his chances are going to be really hard in a full season, no bubble, with fans, with Golden State, with more experience for a Clippers team that imploded. I think this was definitely primed for a Lakers season, for a Lakers championship. And I think they're going to have trouble next year. And I don't think they're going to repeat, but I think they got it done this year. So good for them.
One other last thing before we move on that gets thrown out there a lot that you've probably seen that I think is a good way of looking at it as well is it's this graphic and it's all these accomplishments that Jordan has over LeBron. The 2 more titles, 2 more finals MVPs, 1 more MVP, a defensive player of the year, like 6 or 7 scoring titles, 4 all team defense. And then it just says MJ literally has an entire career's worth of accomplishments more than LeBron and played already, 5 less seasons than LeBron did, 4 less seasons, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why because that's the annoying thing to me about the argument is that there's morons on both sides of it, but the people on the LeBron side of it that are morons, they just act like Jordan didn't exist.
Yeah.
Basically,
so
they just act like he didn't exist. So they'll say things like he played in the softest era of the NBA, which is or the easiest era of the NBA to dominate. That's what...
Who, Jordan?
Yeah, that's what Nick Bujanovic will always say.
What an idiot.
That he played in the easiest era of the NBA to dominate in, or the softest era. I can't remember exactly what it is. But
he's wrong on both accounts.
Yeah.
Kick this kid out of old sport. We can't have these stupid opinions.
It gets engagement, so we'll give him the benefit
of
the doubt.
Fine.
He's more of a Kobe guy, to be honest, but he just comments king to everything. So as long as it stays there, it's fine. But just acknowledge, like we just did. We just acknowledged LeBron for minutes.
Many minutes. Yeah, it's bogus. They're so quick to discredit Michael. And you know what the thing that sucks is by the time Michael's greatness ended, I was 8. So I wouldn't even really put myself in the category of being able to appreciate it. Like if we were all there's the reason why you hear people our age who spout off more for LeBron or even Kobe over Michael than you do for people who are 4 or 5 years older than us.
Right.
It's like most people who are commenting pro Jordan are like 4 or 5 years older, and they watched him destroy the 90s
Yeah.
and in every aspect of the 90s, not just on the court, but culturally and, just iconically world dominating. It's like there's a lot of things that these people don't understand were happening when they were literally just children and the world was flying by them at an all-time rate. And now they think they know something or a thing or two because LeBron James, dominates the headlines, um, for
They don't know nothing.
for things that Jordan's already done. I mean, it's like, or for things that, you know, aren't even close to what Jordan has done in some cases. So
Yeah.
it's tricky. It's tricky to talk about something you really didn't get to experience when you just look at a rap sheet and people think you just fall back on 6 for 6 and that's all Jordan did.
Yeah, it's true. Good points.
He's the best. We'll end it
He's
there.
the best.
Real quick before we close up another fantastic episode of Bros Let's Talk. It came out of left field last week. It was announced that, or Showtime came out and said that Dexter is going to be returning for a 10 episode mini series in 2021. And basically what it feels like is trying to right the wrong that was that final season and specifically series finale of Dexter, which was at its peak an all-time great show, and then slowly divulged into what we got at the end, which, spoilers, was Dexter somehow surviving, driving his boat off into the middle of a hurricane, and then relocating to become a lumberjack somewhere. It was bad. I hated it. It was terrible.
Ridiculous.
But Michael C. Hall as Dexter is one of the all-time great acting performances in TV history. I said it, and I won't apologize for it. It's true. It's a perfect casting. That show that was the first primetime TV show that I got. Not primetime, because that's like ABC, NBC. Like, what do they call HBO? It's what was its old tagline? I know this isn't even HBO. It was, what do they say in I Love You, Man? It's like, have you ever watched Sunday night programming on HBO? It's
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of it.
why I sound like such a moron right now. You guys know what I'm trying to
I know
say.
exactly
I do know,
what you're
yeah.
It's like
saying. though.
premium television.
Yeah, that's
It's
exactly
not the
what
word
it is.
I'm looking for, but it's premier television on HBO or Showtime, HBO, whatever. And this was the first show that I really got into. And then after that, I started watching a bunch of shows and like getting into TV dramas and all the jazz. And the first 3 seasons specifically,
Yeah.
were
Dexter 1 through
phenomenal.
3.
So good.
Ridiculous.
And I actually have high hopes for this because Michael C. Hall is going to be heavily involved with the creative process as well. And I think that the reason they're doing it is because they all felt a certain level of dissatisfaction with the way they closed out the original series. So I don't know if did you guys both watch the show or not?
I did not watch it.
I did not watch the final season, but I did watch all the rest of it. And I really started to hate the show. And that's hence why I did not watch the final season.
And it always sucks when a show gets to that point.
Yeah.
But definitely also to me, just one of the all-time cool premises behind a TV show where it's a serial killer who works within the local police department of the town where he's murdering people. So
that is pretty cool.
And just the again, with just the acting, the character itself, the internal dialogue is just amazing because he's basically just faking everything outwardly and then having these psychotic inner monologues talking about how he's faking everything and basically faking being a human and just it's so good. So I am probably going to rewatch before the new stuff comes out. So I'm very excited about this. I know Andy was pretty excited too. I'm pretty sure he watched all the way through. So
I'm definitely excited. I'm for sure gonna watch it. There's no doubt. Is it, or it's probably on Showtime, so I'll have
It's
to figure
gonna
out.
same. That's probably I'll have to figure out some free trial period sort
Right.
of deal.
Yeah, and just
Try and
burn
time
through
it
A
it.
up around
7-day
that.
power.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. It'll be perfect.
Right. Yeah, I'm very excited. And who doesn't love a good old fashioned vigilante justice
We all do.
situation?
We're all a
right?
sucker for Batman.
I'm
Gotta love the
vengeance.
vigilante justice, man.
It's the best.
Right?
It really is. It just makes for compelling entertainment
Yeah, it does.
through and through. Just like Bros Let's Talk. And that
Show
brings
does.
us to the end of another great episode. Thank you to all of our condiments out there for listening. We love you guys and gals.
Oh, the condiments.
Andy, we missed you today. We hope you're feeling better. Hopefully you weren't fire hydranting on the toilet with
Feel
your
better,
face
buddy.
in the sink throwing up while explosive diarrheaing.
The
out your
double
butthole.
dragon.
A
Oh,
double
baby.
dragon. But
Been there.
if you like what you heard, you can check out our podcast on Apple, Spotify, basically anywhere else podcasts are found. Our home for our podcast, anchor.fm/bros let's talk. If you like what you see and you're watching on the YouTube stream, subscribe so you can hit the bell so you get
Ding.
notifications when our episodes go live. We're going to keep coming with the video episodes weekly. So make sure to subscribe. Did I say that already? Subscribe. Thanks, guys. For Jimmy and Sean, this is Pat. Later, dudes.
See ya.
Later.
Nice.
Very nice.